Hello, 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 and welcome back. It is another episode of Healthy and Wealthy and Wise with Lois Kofi. I'm super excited here today to share with you guys three tips to massive list building. I have shared my story many times over the last few months, really since launching my podcast and really discovering how in this new normal, we got to do things differently. And I embrace the times. You can go back to previous episodes where I talked about monetizing landing pages and where I talked about how my shift in thinking helped me create multiple five figures since this summer. And so today I wanted to cover three of those tips to massive list building. And please, feel free to share this with your Facebook community. I do have a free class that will build upon this information. So it's perfect timing if you share this today, tomorrow, this week. I have this free one-time class, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to give you kind of a teaser that I cover in that class. So tip number one, first of all, when it comes to email campaigns and list building, you got to have the right mindset. You got to have a goal, right? It all starts up here. To think is to create. Number one, do you have the mindset or do you need to study? What tools do you need to look into to better understand what building a list really will do for you? Because one of the things that I'm passionate about is not teaching people how to build a list and just sell, hit. I want to teach you how to bring value and to work like a farmer. You might think like a hunter because sometimes, one phone call, a cold call might work, right? I used to think email was cold calling. I thought it was spam. I judged it. And so I had to shift my mindset. I actually signed up for a bunch of email lists in order to be able to study and shift my mindset and say, is this really something for me? So you want to ask yourself first and foremost, how are your sales going this year in this new normal? How have you pivoted to the online world, which includes all of the things that I've been talking about really for the past few weeks? And also the mindset of what will this create for me? So what I teach is it creates a farm, it creates a gold mine, it creates a limitless database that can pay you back forever if you do it authentically, if you do it organically. I teach a lot about my mindset is Facebook and LinkedIn. They're not my CRM, right? So I've got to be able to bring people off of those social media platforms because, oh, by the way, you could get your account shut down. You could be hacked. You don't really have access to people's contact information, depending on how you look at it. There's different ways that people, build their list. I do it organic. I do it authentically. So that's again all part of the mindset. What is your mindset around list building? I heard a stat the other day. I wish I would have written down where the study was done, but the study was done where you have 1,000 people on your list and you bring value, right? You don't hit them hard with sales pitches every day. I mean, you can sell to your list once a week. That's actually very, very common. Again, I've studied some of the best email marketers out there, but they're also giving lots of value first. So that's my mindset. I opened my mind, I pivoted, and I'm so glad I did because it's another way to communicate with people that normally I can't pick up the phone and talk to all of you, even though I really wish I could. So the mindset is it's a touch, it's a connection. Hey, Carl, good to see you. So if you're tuning in live, feel free to hit hashtag live in the city and state or country that you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear from you. But ultimately, do your research, do your homework. Don't just because I said, sign up. If you haven't already subscribed to my email list and study, not to buy stuff from me, but to study what is working for me. Because if it wasn't working, I wouldn't be doing it. Right? So again, research, sign up for other people's email lists that you actually do like their stuff, and start, just being more of a student and seeing again, is email list building for me, knowing that 1,000 people again could convert to dollars over a lifetime. It's an asset. You could sell your list someday, depending on how you do your business, what businesses and industries, and obviously there's probably going to be a lot of different rules and regulations, but it's no different than a chiropractor or a dentist going ahead and selling their practice, right? Those people still need to be served by someone. So you could be sitting on acres of diamonds when you have a list. So now I'm going to move on to tip number 2, and I call it the 5 W's. So you're going to want to write this down. Tip number 2 is the 5 W's. And this might be part of your research. You may not get to tip number 2 because maybe you're just thinking, Lois, email list building is not for me. And that's great. That's great. Maybe you're making phone calls, maybe you do Facebook ads, maybe you do all of these other things. I don't choose to build my list through Facebook ads or anything like that. I'm all organic. So that's another thing to decide, if you do want to move forward with list building, you got to go to step number 2, which is the 5 W's. It's the who, the what, the how, the when, and the why. And actually, I know the H doesn't start with W, but you know what I'm saying. The who, the what, the how, the where, the when, the why. So being able to, who is going to go or want to be in your email list? Who is your avatar, your dream customer, right? Then where are you going to find them? You've got the who, so who the dream customer is. Where are you going to find them? Are you finding them on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook? Are you going to Pinterest if that's an area that you love, and you want to go to places where there are like-minded people? So if you're looking for, like I love working with coaches. I just love coaches and spiritual healers and teachers and business coaches, life coaches, fitness coaches, because that's all of who I have been. And I've been successful, so I know I can help them. Right. So I'm going to be joining different Facebook or LinkedIn communities that are specifically guided and designed for coaches, speakers, authors, podcasters, because again, I am my dream customer, right? So who is your dream customer and where are you finding them? So I teach how to be a part of or create your own Facebook community. You can do the same thing on LinkedIn. You can have events. Then there's the next W is the what. What are you sharing with them? What value are you offering them? Again, you're going to go way, way, way deeper. I'm giving away my $1,500 valued list build course for free this week. So you can sign up at listbuildwithlois.com because I can only cover so much here in my monologue podcast, for like 15 minutes, give or take. But just knowing that you got to have some value to give. So what are you emailing? Are you emailing YouTube videos? I started out emailing my podcast episodes. I built up my YouTube channel, so I have content. I have a blog, so I have content. Again, that's part of building your audience and your tribe. My podcast really helped me do that. My Facebook group helped me do that. But, what is the content that you're going to share? I'm going to talk about, again, all of this. Then the when. When or how often are you going to be sending these valuable content-rich emails out? And I actually have my own 5-point system because again, in sales, right? If you understand sales, no matter what you are selling, you've got to touch people 5 to 12 times before they really want to buy your stuff, right? So you really got to have 5 to 12 emails, give or take, set up as part of your welcome. Hey, welcome to my email list, right? So, and when are you going to send them out? That's one of the W's. When are you going to send them out? You got to have a plan, guys. You got to have a plan. When I first thought about email campaigns, I was using MailChimp. I don't use it anymore. It didn't really work for me. But ultimately I didn't know when to send emails out, so I'm going to coach you guys for free on all of that stuff. But do you send them out in the morning? Do you send them out in the evening? Do you send them out weekdays, weekends? Have a plan. And especially those first 5 to 12 emails, that's part of that plan and part of what's going to help you decide when you're going to send them out. Now, I used to be a once a week person sending out an email. I developed a muscle, a habit. And now, because I have digital marketing platform that helps me send out auto-responding emails, and then, of course, I can do other emails, broadcast emails, and that kind of stuff. You really want to have something like that in place. We're going to talk about that in tip number 3. So setting up those and knowing when they're going out is also really important as part of your plan. Now, the why. The why, it's part of your why. Like, what is your mission and your vision for producing this list and emailing and dripping and supporting and giving value? And also, conjointly, why do they care? So you got to make sure that you really give a lot of value and tap into their why. That's why you actually might have different lists for different products and services, right? I'll have one list specific to one coaching program. I'll have another list for my podcast. I'll have another list for dripping on a different topic. And I'll have another list that I can drip to that's a more higher ticket item list, right? So you got to know your audience, but you also got to know why they want more stuff from you. So even having a survey, putting a survey in somewhere along the way is really part of my process in that first 5 to 12 emails, is asking them, why do you care? Why are you still on my list? You haven't unsubscribed, right? And we'll talk about that in a second, but just being able to really connect with your audience and their why by getting that survey and that feedback. Could be SurveyMonkey, Wufoo, Typeform, Jotform, Google Forms. There's all sorts of different ways to create those, but let your audience tell you what they want to hear from you about. That's really powerful. And then, of course, the unsubscribe component, since I mentioned it, if you have a powerful enough why, and you clarified all of these 5 W's, you know who you're targeting, you know where they are, so you can get them off of, again, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, because those are not your CRMs. Again, I talked about that already. You can get shut down and lose your whole database, and you don't have phone numbers. You probably don't have their emails. I mean, they could leave Facebook. You just lose touch with people, right? So you want to create your own tribe and following. And then what are you sharing? When are you sharing? And why are they sharing it? And why are you doing it? If you have a big enough why, you can endure any how, right? We've all heard that. Simon Sinek, start with why. Just remember that, people will unsubscribe. And guess what? Just like someone saying no when you call them, they're not ready to buy your stuff. If someone says, hey, I'm going to unsubscribe, whether they do it on their own or they tell me, I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. You just told me you are not my dream customer. And that's okay. You're not part of my tribe. And that is okay. So you got to be okay with that. That's part of the mindset. Part of the mindset. So moving on from the 5 W's and transitioning into tip number 3. This kind of goes with the how. This kind of goes with the how and what I was mentioning in the 5 W's. I accidentally snuck it in there. How doesn't start with a W, so I'm sort of making fun of myself. But the 3rd tip, and this is really, really important. Really, really important to me. Because we all have a limited amount of time, right? And most of I am a 12-week year a trainer, certified, and I'm very passionate about time. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago where I was out of balance and I'm coming back into balance in my life. And having an email list, having a CRM, And oh, by the way, delegating and outsourcing a lot of that stuff, the busy stuff that isn't my genius, that, I charge $500 an hour. So yes, I can afford to hire. I actually have two virtual assistants that help. And I started out with one, and I started out, negotiating rates. And I mean, you can find all sorts of VAs everywhere at different rates, different price points. I've always gone by, business by referral. So I found my virtual assistants both by referral, and I vetted their references and all that kind of stuff. But you can even start with a high school kid, a college kid who, millennials that love technology, right? So they can help set up your auto responders, your email campaigns, your what do you want to call it? Even just your design, your graphic design. Because again, hello, I'm not a designer, so you can go to Fiverr.com, and I actually have a bunch of resources, free resources, and then of course there's some lower fee resources that you can purchase to help you. Even if you don't take my class, guys, that's okay. But you got to be able to have a CRM tool or an email campaign tool, a way to capture your leads. And be careful, because a lot of them that are out there, they will nickel and dime you all the way to the bank for every 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 leads you capture in it. And here's the thing, you don't have to have a huge list. You don't have to be great to start, just start. Okay, that's my advice to you. Again, whether you take my class or not, doesn't matter to me. As long as my hope is to open your mind to the possibilities, because I'm a mom, I'm at home, kids are home, homeschooling, I have multiple businesses, and I'm working through taking care of myself, my own mental health, my spiritual health, my fitness health, and financial health. All of that takes headspace. It takes time. It takes commitment to self and oftentimes others for self-care, right? Setting your boundaries, saying no, having a list helps you make money while you sleep. Having a list and an email campaign that have actual buying, paying subscribers that tell you, I want your stuff. I am your dream customer. I'm working towards a 4-hour day working. Right now, I'm not quite there yet because I'm still building my list. I'm still building that foundation, but I'm only like 6 months ahead of a lot of you out there listening to me right now. I've been able to pull multiple 5 figures almost, to that point on a monthly basis. I don't say that to impress you. I'm not about the money, believe it or not. I'm about the freedom. I'm about what that income will create for me. What will it buy for me? Who can I give more money to? Who can I help that's hurting right now? Right? And so if you have a great CRM and email campaign system, and it helps you manage your time better and leverage yourself, it's an extension of yourself, right? How many of you have ever said, oh God, I wish I could duplicate myself? Yep. I've been saying it for years, and how did I not get an email list sooner? I'm sort of kicking myself. So even if you have 0, even if you have 100, I would encourage you to build it every day or every week. Set a goal. Goes back to tip number 1. What are your goals? What are your mindset around having that list? And I do have, again, I'll close with this. I do have my free first time ever. And we're going to have live Q&A inside of this group supporting you starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. If you take the course, you'll see the lives, you won't understand it. All you have to do is join my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise Facebook community, and you'll get emails. And it's a course that's 3 days long, but here's the kicker. It's not live. You consume the information on your own time, and I'll email out an episode on Thursday, email out an episode on Friday, the 20th, email an episode on Saturday, and you'll have access to $1,500 worth of content and all of the things that I've learned really this year up until now for free. my gift to you, because I don't want you to start 2021 off without having this information. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Please share this with a friend who you know could benefit truly, whether they're in network marketing, they're coaches, life coaches. You know, I've helped a lot of people monetize their business and start building that gold mine that'll pay them for the rest of their life so they can live the life of their dreams, not feel all salesy, spammy, but actually give value. And by giving value, right, that's when it all comes back to us tenfold. So here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. Bye bye for now.